guys. Welcome back to Missing the Misses. I'm Shatara.
I'm Elise. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up
and subscribe
below.
Yes.
Sure, you've been married, 9 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so...
Why am I nervous? Cause you might... Where's this going?
No, what is your advice to us who are single who want to be married? What is your advice about dating and things like that? Because you are married now.
Honestly, I think you said it. It's to not ignore red flags. Mm-hmm. Not saying that I did, but honestly, I was not ready to get married when I got married. Mm-hmm. I wasn't pressured into getting married. Right. I didn't realize now, 24-year-old Shatara was not ready. Mm-hmm. So I would just say, just to not ignore the red flags, to get to know yourself, to get to know who you are. You know, in your 20s, your life is really just, unless you know.
But how do you know?
I don't know, but I mean, you just have to follow your heart. Thank God for me and God's grace to go before us, because it's working out so far. Mm-hmm. So far, it's working out, and it will.
It absolutely.
But I would just say, I would tell younger people or people who want to be married to just get to know yourself first. Mm-hmm. Travel, have fun, mm-hmm. Go. Don't be afraid to go travel. Don't be afraid to go live somewhere else and live by yourself. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I would say too. I did have the opportunity to live by myself before moving back home for a while. And I grew in that time, learning how to really pay bills mm-hmm. On my own and all that stuff. But I would just say, get to know yourself. Don't ignore red flags. Don't settle.
Yeah. And
travel though. Go see the world, because I mean, we don't have kids right now, so I can kind of do a little bit more. But you better believe I go to him and I'm like, how would you feel if I went on this trip or whatever,
mm-hmm. Right.
Be okay with be okay with marrying somebody you can, consider them in your decisions.
Right. Right.
Right. But if I wasn't, you can just get up and go. If it's just you, mm-hmm. you can get up and go travel and see the world and just experience new things. And not that I can't, but when you're single, you can do all that. You don't have nothing holding you back.
Right.
But yeah, don't ignore the red flags. I see, friends that get into these relationships and we know it ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? And sometimes some of them been in situationships for too long. But it's sometimes they become stuck in this cycle when you knew that you should have got out a long time ago, and you still have
waited too long, but you can
still get out. You can still get out, because that meme is true. You holding on to this person, and God probably got somebody else that's waiting and looking specifically for you. Yes. And it's just know who you are. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful to have a husband that was patient with me. I grew up a lot in my marriage, not before getting married, and I'm just being real. Mm-hmm. I grew up a lot in the marriage. So I would just say, know who you are, travel, go live your life, and just really just get to know yourself.
Yeah, I agree. But what's your take on moving too fast? Do you think that's a thing of moving too fast? I
absolutely do think moving too fast is a thing, because sometimes when we're young, we can be naive. Mm-hmm. So you may not be able to know what is the truth from a lie, or when somebody's moving you on. Mm-hmm. When you take your time to get to know somebody and to talk to them, then, okay, you can kind of see things.
Well, I know you said you and Alonzo moved kind of fast. Do you mm-hmm. think that there's a thing as moving too fast?
Absolutely. I say that because... Yeah, we did move fast. Mm-hmm. But we just, the vibe was there, mm-hmm. And we just wanted to get to know each other. We wanted to see each other before, me leaving and all that stuff.
Right.
But dating to get married, I do feel like sometimes people can move too fast. Mm-hmm. The reason I say people should slow down and not move too fast, because sometimes when you're young like that, you don't know the lie from a truth.
Right.
You could just be going on naive. I'm young, in love, mm-hmm. whatever. You know what I mean? But when you take your time to get to know somebody, mm-hmm. You can kind of figure out, you can kind of see what's coming. and realizing you start feeling things like, you kind of know what's on and what's off.
Right.
But when you're moving too fast and you just caught up, that person's perfect. They can do no wrong.
Right.
Until you get into a situation and now you starting to see the first time when they get mad.
Right.
First time you see somebody get mad, you're like, oh, who is this?
Right.
But then you're already caught up. And not saying that even when you take your time, people still not going to get mad or you're not going to see other things come out of people. But, you're taking your time into just getting to know that person. You understand what makes them mad. You understand, when tempers and attitudes change.
Which is why it's important to get to know people.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not saying that everybody who moves fast is going to be a great thing. Like, you and Alonzo worked out good. And then there's people who it didn't work out so well for.
But we didn't work out good in the middle, I should say, because we moved so fast. And then when things started getting crazy or out of control, I had temper issues.
Right.
He would have temper issues. And it's like, who is this person? We had a good circle around us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then there was a point in time where we got into church. So we then had people pouring into us. And then we had even our pastor at that time tell us, y'all need to separate and become friends. Yeah. Because we missed the friendship part.
Right.
Trying to hurry up and get to know each other so fast. So, it's working out now. Hopefully, we stay prayed up, and it will, like I said. But I just would encourage people to just take their time. That's even to young girls. I deal with young girls a lot. Just to, there's so much life ahead. Just take your time. Just take your time.
But that goes back to what I'm saying. Have fun with dating. Yeah, like, you don't have to be serious with every person you meet and go on a date with.
Right.
Like,
and when we say have fun with dating and just, we don't mean sleeping with people. This has nothing to do with that. Let's just make that disclaimer.
We are not talking about dating. We are not talking about having sex with anybody. Okay? So please do not get that confused. Do not get that confused.
So we just want to make that clear because, people might, when you say, I date a few people at a time, that's dating.
Dating. That means I am getting to know someone. Yes. We are having conversation, things that's like that. Hanging out, stuff like that. And then you are not.
Then you going home and they going home.
Exactly.
But yes. So date, yes, have fun. Live your life. But I'm just saying it's
and
just so much life.
Yeah. Like, be happy with you.
Yes,
whether you are with someone or not.
And then too, even to young girls today, I say focus on your education. Whether you decide to go to college or not, focus on what it is you want to do next. Do not get distracted.
Right.
Honestly, men will always be there.
Always. And they're going to always want you.
Yes.
Always.
And if you're the one like they say you are, then he'll be there. But that would be my word to anybody that wants young person that wants to be in a relationship. Get to know yourself. And then we know older people that's still waiting. I admire their waits.
Me too.
I do. And a lot of people that I know that older, they're living their lives, and they get together with their friends and they have a good time. And, it's funny to hear them talk about, men or a date they went on, but I admire that about them too. The strength and the weight that they have and not settling.
Because you don't have to.
Not the same. She's hard at 34, which I am now. It's just, I look back and look, within the first...
I'm scared.
Within the first year or two, maybe, we got, within the first 2 years of marriage, I paid, like, the utilities. Alonzo will take care of the house and our cars and stuff like that. And so, we was getting, mind you, it's just us two. We was getting the red letter notices.
For your part?
For just the utilities. And we lived in an apartment, so we only had, like, gas and electric, I think. And so, Alonzo was like, why is we getting red notices? You got a job and I got a job. Why the bill not getting paid? These are my only two bills. And I'm like, I'm gonna just do this, because I want to keep my money in my pocket. He was like, we gonna pay these bills.
She got the right husband.
You know,
she got the right husband.
He was like, but you know, that's something like, I didn't pay attention to paying bills growing up.
Uh-huh.
You know, I didn't pay attention to all of that. I knew I could spend some money. You know what I mean? So I still had, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, take your time to get to know you and grow and learn how to pay bills, learn how to live on your own.
Absolutely.
Like, all of that stuff. Because in my house, I just paid the bills whenever I felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when you come together, no, you building something. Why have that debt? Why owe when you can just pay? You know, stuff that you learn, you should know before getting married. And that's the basics.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
exactly.
That's the basics. But...
I mean, and that's again, so I mean, my personal preference, I don't want to live with anybody before I'm married. Mm-hmm. We can argue about that all day, because people...
I'm like, you're not going to argue about that.
I mean, people have their own thing they want to do. Yeah. And I'm not against anybody living with anyone before they get married. That's your thing. It's just not mine. Because I don't want to be that person caught up in bills and responsibilities with somebody that I'm not married to. I just feel like, why do you feel like we need to do all of this, but we can't get married? So, I mean, I just feel like that's important to me. Like, getting cars and living in houses and apartments and all of that stuff, completely fine if that's what you want to do. It's just not my thing. Like, I feel like if you want to do all this, make all these commitments with me, we can get married.
Say it.
So I just feel like that's the ultimate commitment, because we can still do all those things after we're married. I mean, it works out for a lot of people, and it's great for a lot of people. A lot of people want to live with people before they get married, because they want to know what they're getting themselves into, and I get that. It's just not for me. So I feel like once we marry, we just gonna have to work that out.
Yeah. But you know, and me and Alonzo, we stayed together. I stayed with him before he got married. And like I said, we had those people in our lives who be like, look, y'all need to separate. You know what I mean? But I did get to see certain things. You know, I knew he would take care of the home. I knew he would do that. You know, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it was right. I wouldn't advise anybody else to do that. I do believe it was a mistake. So I wouldn't advise anybody to do that either. But, you know,
I guess it's just because I don't want to feel like I'm allowing everything to happen before what I want happens, and then I'm stuck in this cycle of now we're living together, now we done got caught up in these bills, now we done had kids together, and you still ain't married me, and you don't feel like you need to, because I'm giving you everything you want. We're doing everything that a wife and a husband does, but we can't commit ourselves to each other and get married. So I just don't want to go down that road. But I mean, I can talk about that all day, but again, that's just your preference. So I don't know. But
no, that's good.
Yeah.
But that's what you want. That's a standard that you set for yourself. You know, because people get in those situations and can't. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
And it becomes toxic.
Yeah.
You know, when you feeling like you stuck, that's the time to get out. You know?
And that's why I tell people, like, have your things that you are not, like, your non-negotiables. I have non-negotiables, and I don't care how fine you is, how much money you making, how much we getting along, how good the vibe is. I'm not going back on my non-negotiables. And so I think that's something people need to realize. Like,
get back to standards.
Yeah. And if your standards are what they consider high, oh well, those are your standards. That's what you want. Like, this is your life.
Yes,
so
it's your life. It's your life. We get attached to people and can't get away from them, and now the life is just messed up.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be that way. Set your standards and stick to them. Have your non-negotiables and do not negotiate them. You do not have to. So, I mean, I don't like when people are like, well, I can get past this, or I can do this, or, you just don't have to. And I'm not going to. So, I mean, but again, I'm also that person that if you do something I don't like, I'm going to tell you. So, because it's my life.
I was just going to say that again. I'm like, it's your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get one life. We get one chance to do it right, you know. And I understand we make mistakes, but if you're in a situation and you feel stuck, get out. Like, why is that person worth you being unhappy?
Right.
You know, not that that person can, again, not that he or she can make you happy, but why stay in a situation where you feeling stuck? You know, get out.
I mean, with my situation, I'm not dating just for me. I'm dating for me and my daughter. So it's like I have to think of those things when I'm dating people.
So what do you say when people just don't want to be alone? Because sometimes people just be like, well, I just don't want to be alone.
Again, that's you having to know yourself. And I mean, not to bring religion into it because everybody's not religious, but for me, it's knowing God and having that faith and knowing that what I want will eventually come, but I have to know who I am. I mean, and until you know that, you're going to feel the loneliness. You're going to feel the sadness. You're going to feel incomplete, whatever that is to you. But it's because you don't have that faith.
Yeah. And it's, and two, you don't know who you are.
Right.
You know, feeling, if you just don't want to be alone, why don't you want to be alone? Maybe you should be asking that question.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. You need to be figuring out what the underlying issues are. Because that's a bigger issue.
Of why you don't want to be alone. Yep.
Because how you going to be something for somebody else and you can't even be what you need to yourself?
And can't even enjoy your own company.
No.
Like, there are times I know you will be out mind watching Bailey. I need to go have a date with myself. She'll be a Red Lobster somewhere.
Girl, by myself.
Yes.
And loving every minute of it. And I mean, you have to. You have to be able to be okay with who you are. Being out by yourself. Like, you can't enjoy your own company. How are you going to be great company for someone else?
So I mean, but we, like you said, we are religious. We do believe in God. We try to live a godly life. We're human, of course. But, you know, but it goes back to loving God and then loving yourself. You can't love nobody else when you don't love yourself, you know, or love God first and then love yourself. Because if you loved yourself, then you wouldn't put up with some of the things that you put up with.
Right.
I remember there were times in my past, I would hear like, or feel like somebody saying, if you knew who you were, you wouldn't act like that. If you knew who you were, you wouldn't say that. If you knew who you were, you wouldn't put up with that.
You're right.
You know, I can remember driving and just feeling that and saying like, oh, why did I do that? That's not who I am.
Right.
And if you're feeling stuck, that's not who you are. You can get up. You know, get up, get out, and live your life.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you guys.
This was so much fun. I cannot wait to see where all of this goes. It's just, I'm so excited. Comment below. Make sure you give this a big thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.